It took Jaguar 50 years to release a spiritual successor to the E-Type, and when they did, it looks like they've given us something that's set to become a bit of a modern classic. The F-Type was designed by the genius that is Ian Callum and packaged with the drive that is one of the best on the market. But the best news of all is that they haven't waited another 50 years for the next F-Type. This is the Coupe, a hardtop version that promises to deliver just a little bit more enjoyment thanks to a chassis that isn't compromised by a missing roof. We were invited to join Jaguar in Spain for the world launch of their new car, during which we drove a route that covers a good few hundred kilometers, along which we found an abandoned highway. There are a lot of interesting technical details when it comes to the styling of the F-Type Coupe. For example, that entire side panel is one piece of aluminium. The whole car is actually made of aluminium, so there's not a single weld anywhere. Everything is either bonded or riveted. And all those technical details kind of fall into insignificance when you're faced with one of the most beautiful machines in the world. When we drove the convertible earlier this year, we went to great lengths to point out how Jaguar went to great lengths to preserve some of the lines of the E-Type. Turns out that wasn't exactly at the core of what they were trying to do.
We're all car enthusiasts and we all subconsciously know what an E-Type looks like. And there are some elements of that car which are unique. They're uniquely Jaguar and uniquely E-Type. As you say, the tail lamp graphic, the roofline that extends to the trailing edge of the car. So we thought elements like that, which are very unique, would be cool to reinterpret on a modern car like F-Type. And if I just talk about the tail lamps, for example, they're inspired by that original Series 1 tail lamp, but the proportions are much more extreme. It's all LED light blade technology, so it's absolutely cutting edge. And if you never knew about the E-Type Series 1, you'd just think, wow, the car's got a cool rear end on it. But for those aficionados in the know, you can see the points of reference.
Once we chatted to Wayne, we hit the road from Barcelona, heading west to the town of Lleida. There are a lot of great driving roads in Spain. But there are also a lot of ordinary ones too. Our drive so far has covered about 200 kilometers of some pretty uninteresting, very empty highways. The kind of things that would normally put you to sleep, especially after you leave at 6 a.m., like we did. But despite that, and despite the fact that you're covered in layers of luxury in here, you just never get lazy in the F-Type. You never feel bored. And that's partly because of the way the thing sounds. But it's also partly because it responds so enthusiastically to any kind of attention on the accelerator. That's thanks in part to the 8-speed automatic, which is always ready to drop a gear and prepare you for a blast of power. The first of our two test cars was the V6S, an engine we'd sampled in the convertible, with 280 kilowatts, 460 newton meters, and no problems with propelling the coupe forward at a decent rate, even when you're already up to speed. Besides a different look, the coupe also offers a bit more confidence over the convertible. In the convertible, through some hard corners and over rougher surfaces, you can kind of feel the chassis flexing. But because of this extra piece of aluminium above my head, the coupe just feels so much more solid. It's something you pick up immediately, and that in turn gives you the ability to push the coupe a little harder. And when you do, you're rewarded with lots of grip and confident steering, and an exhaust note from the V6 that never gets tired. Another of this car's talents is its ability to keep you comfortable on any drive. Besides the steering wheel being over here and the resulting heavily offset pedals of the left-hand drive version, the interior of the coupe is identical to the convertible. You get the same low driving position, the same ergonomic interior, the same level of luxury. Oh, there is one other thing. It has a boot. Not shown here is the spare wheel, which will intrude on the overall space, but at least now, as an F-Type owner, you no longer have to decide between a spare wheel or a suitcase for your road trip. There's enough room for both. Up front, things are still bathed in your choice of interior light, and the high spec and high comfort will make sure that wherever you take your F-Type coupe, the trip will be a pleasant one. Our Spanish road trip was going well, and it was about to get better as we headed for a purpose-built complex where we'd get the chance to try out the F-Type coupe on a racetrack.